And you guys know that at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, you see Freddy's hand come out of the ground and grab the hockey mask. And that was my hand.
Oh, wow.
Wearing the Freddy glove, yeah.
Oh, so you've done it all.
Kind of.
You were double dipping. Welcome some horror legends to the stage, if you will. Kane Hodder himself, Jason, and of course we've got Leatherface. There is a lot of earmuffs, but there's a lot of fuck coming out of this mouth right now. So I am saying it with a P-H-U-C-K. It's a...
What's he doing over there?
Bathroom. Should we start without him?
Yes, we should.
Well, ladies and...
End without him.
Let's end without him as well. Kane Hodder, one of the scariest guys on the planet right now. But you're not that scary. You're a nice guy, a good guy. When you got the role at first, what was your life like with your family and friends once they knew you were this big bad? And did they buy it?
Well, I mean, I had been doing stunts for 11 years in film, and then was in the position to play this character. And of course, everything changed for the better. Yeah. I mean, I was still doing stunts, but now I had this character that people knew, and it was like, wait a minute, you play Jason? That's pretty cool. So it's been an amazing career, and I loved most everything about it. I mean, I got burned doing a fire stunt at the beginning of my career, so that's why I have all the scars. But it's been fun, and when you get to work, especially in stunts, you get to work with like an actor or an actress that you've admired, and now you're doing a scene with them. That's pretty amazing. Like doing a fight scene with, I did the movie VIII with Brad Pitt. Oh, wow. Did a lot of action with him, and then did Monster with Charlize Theron, and she won an Oscar for it.
Right.
If you ever watch that movie again, I'm actually the undercover cop that arrests her at the end of the movie. Even though I was stunt coordinator on it mainly, I also played that character. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's the most amazing part of being in stunts is to suddenly be doing a scene with somebody you've admired.
And is it about time? We're hearing now that there's a chance that the Academy is going to add a stunt category. As a stunt guy, how do you feel about that? And is it long overdue? I feel like it is.
Well, I mean, I guess I have two different opinions on that.
Okay. Sorry, I tried.
Yes.
I tried. He wants to be like you. That's what he said.
He had to poop. Everybody poops. They should write a book called that. Oh, they did. That's right. They did.
Good. Yeah, but the stunts...
Yeah, but as far as a category for an Oscar, it's always been talked about, but I think it could present problems where people are taking unnecessary risks. Sure. Doing stunts because they want to be considered for an Oscar, so maybe it makes it a little more dangerous. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but that's always been the kind of argument against having an Academy Award for stunts in particular. So I don't know. I think there is something to that fact, but it's also like kind of sucks that we're kind of totally ignored in that community. So,
well, what did you think of something like Fall Guy? Like, not the television series. Of course, the series was great, but Ryan Gosling coming out now with the new one, and that seems to be where the traction's coming for the stunts to be more recognized.
Right, which kind of I appreciate that, but I haven't seen the movie yet, but I probably will, just to see how everything is done currently, because I'm one of those stunt guys. I started in 1977, so I'm one of those guys that looks at the new guys and think, you know what? It's pretty easy nowadays because there's so many people in stunts. I meet working stunt people nowadays that. So I say, what's your area that you like to focus on? And fights, yeah. And I'm like, okay, yeah. What else? And I said, do you do fire stunts? No. What about cars? Driving? Not really. No car crashes, no car flips? No. High falls? No, it's not my thing. And, makes me feel like, man, you're a stunt person and you do one aspect of stunts? I think that's kind of lame. Just because you do a fight scene doesn't make you a stunt person.
Makes you a pro wrestler. So sorry. I love pro wrestling. Folks, I want you to know, I'm not going to maximize your time. If you guys have any questions at all, there's a microphone right there in the middle. Line up to it. Feel free to line up right there and we'll get to your questions for you. All right? Soundgarden? Sounds good. All right.
No, that's not a glory hole.
And just like that, already it started. All right, first question.
Kane, when it came to Friday the 13th, Part 6, weren't they supposed to start getting into dealing with Jason's father and like a more complex storyline, and then that just kind of didn't happen?
I don't know. I wasn't in Part 6.
Well, when you took over, did they tell you anything about it?
Nothing regarding that much, but they did say they were going to go in a couple different directions with storyline and stuff. So, which I think you need to do at some point. Right. You get up to the 7th installment of a franchise, you got to do something different. That's why we went to New York. We went to space.
And the telekinetic girl.
Yes, telekinetic girl. And what? And hell. Yes.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, Jason went to Cleveland.
And you guys know that at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, you see Freddy's hand come out of the ground and grab the hockey mask. And that was my hand.
Oh, wow.
Wearing the Freddy glove, yeah.
Oh, so you've done it all.
Kind of.
You were double dipping.
Well, and I stunt doubled RA in a couple scenes in his movie, our movie. Yeah. And so Leatherface, Freddy, Jason. I've always wanted to play Michael because that's an amazing character too. But I did a short film with Adam Green as Michael Myers. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's called Driving Lessons. No. Check it out on Ariscope. It's pretty funny.
It's always a comedy, is it?
And you guys obviously know this is R.A. Mihailoff, played Leatherface in Chainsaw 3, among many other things. Yeah. We've done quite a few films together. And Hatchet 2.
Pumpkinhead 2.
Right, Pumpkinhead 2.
John Schneider, Smothered.
Smothered, which John Schneider wrote and directed. He wrote it, right? Yeah. And directed, and it's a comedy where we kind of play versions of ourselves, so... Yeah, and I used to work with John on Dukes.
Oh, no way. Good question, brother.
Well, R.A. knows that my favorite part he ever played was Shark in Trancers 3. And that was the most amazing character.
What was the character's name? Shart?
Shark, yeah.
Shart.
Shark.
S-H-A-R-T? Well, that certainly fits.
No.
Shark.
He was an android.
That fits more than you can imagine. Shart.
Shark. It stands for Suprahuman Armed Response Cyborg.
Yes.
Or Killbot.
And it just happened to have a shark's head on it.
And what?
They put the shark head on you, and then they put that really cool leather jacket on you.
Yeah. Well, the reason they called him Shark was because he had that fin.
Yeah.
And the stainless steel shark's teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. It was well. What was it like playing the character? It must have been amazing.
It was very cool. Come on, man. Working in movies or television anytime doing anything is the best.
Better than having a job, right?
Ain't that the truth?
Full send. Good question, sir. Good question. Thank you. Come on up, ma'am.
Hello. So I was just curious, especially since you were talking about doing stunts back in like the 70s and 80s is so different from how it is now. But like, what kind of training or education if anything, did you have before working in stunts? Either of you?
Well, I actually wasn't sure how to get into the business because it's very difficult. And I found a quote unquote stunt school in Santa Monica, down by the beach. And this is when I was going to college. I went for 3 semesters of college and then quit to do stunts, but never got my degree.
Probably better off.
I think so. I don't think the degree would have helped me in this case, but it's the only thing I ever quit on, which I kind of feel a little bit disappointed that, I didn't continue just because of that. But anyway, the stunt school was run by a guy named Paul Stader, and I think it's so amazing because there was only like 5 students, and I couldn't afford the school. So the school was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in this gym, Main Street, Santa Monica. And Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, the students would go there and practice on their own. So I started going there on those days because I didn't have to pay for the stunt school. And I just kind of started training with them, made friends with them, and just worked out.
Like a lot of like self-taught for you.
Kind of, yeah. And ironically, one of the students that helped me train was a guy named Tom Morga, who played Jason in Part 5, which is amazing to me that there's 5 of us, 6 of us that worked at that gym, and 2 of us went on to play Jason. So he's had an amazing career too, and it's just such a tough business to get into because there's no auditioning like acting. Yeah. You can't go in and blow somebody away with an audition and get a part. That's not how stunts works. You're hired by a stunt coordinator, and they base the hiring on your experience.
That's why
how do you get experience?
Because you're right. You don't. There's no. I mean, other than what you were saying, but there's like no. I don't think there's like a stunt degree.
No. It's you. That's why it's very nepotistic, the whole stunt business. If you have a relative that has had a career in stunts, much easier for you to get noticed because you say, my uncle, my aunt, my whatever, father, mother is so-and-so, then stunt coordinators will look at you sooner. So
there you go.
At the beginning of my career, I wanted to be a stuntman. And in 1976, who was the president of the Stuntmen's Association? Benny Dobbins?
Oh, might have been, yeah.
Anyway, so I wrote a letter to Benny Dobbins, and I said, how do you get to be a stuntman? Is there any school or training? And he wrote back basically saying that there were no, at that time, 76, there were no schools. And to be a successful stuntman, you had to have a knack for hustle. And, you have to, like Kane said, you kind of need to ingratiate yourself into the established stunt community if you're unknown.
Yeah.
And early, before they, come on, let's face it, Hollywood wouldn't let me be a double. They wouldn't want me to hide my face, except my big role.
They wouldn't want you to?
No. But anyway.
I seem to have a different recollection of that.
So, and all the boys used to do it, go to a set and hustle the stunt coordinator.
That's exactly the process I would do every day. I would sneak into the studio, usually Warner Brothers or Universal, and I would walk past the guard acting like I worked there and just wave, and they weren't very.
Like you belong there.
Yes, and you can't do that now. But then I would go to a building called Operations, and where they had call sheets from every production on or off the lot. Every show, every film had a call sheet, which is, what we receive the day before shooting every day to tell you what your call time is, where the location is. And I would get a set of call sheets from every production that was happening and where they were shooting. And I could see what stunt people were working and what stunt coordinators. And like R.A. said, just go by and say, hey, I'm Kane. I don't know if you remember me. I saw you a couple of weeks ago, and just keep showing up. And eventually you get some kind of rapport with some of the people. And finally they gave you a day's work probably to get you off their ass or something. But they would hire you. And that's how I started working on Dukes of Hazzard. Paul Baxley was a big stunt coordinator, and I kind of became friends with him, and his sons were both stunt guys, and started slowly working.
Or you can marry into the family.
That's a good way to do it too.
Fred.
So now you can start your stunt woman career.
Yeah.
Now you know what to do.
Very educational.
So
Thank you.
So I was doing an outdoor theater show in Chillicothe, Ohio. And the woman that they hired for the lead actress, her uncle was Fred Wall, a very well-known stunt coordinator. So I had my life all planned out. I was going to marry her. We were going to move to California and get a ranch right beside Uncle Fred's. And then I'd be driving around in one of them big four-wheel drive pickup trucks.
Important to have life goals.
What?
Yep.
Important to have life goals. It's important to have those.
Needless to say, it didn't work out.
Earlier you had mentioned like a few different types of stunts. What would you say your specialty is, or just one that you like doing above others? And what is your least favorite?
Who's she talking to?
Both of you, I think.
Both. For me, by far, my most favorite, even though I almost died doing a fire stunt, is fire stunts. After that injury, I learned a lot about fire stunts, and always loved the idea, it sounds weird, of being on fire if it's done properly. I always loved that stunt, and I'd say 80-90% of working stunt people don't do fire because it's such a specialized area of stunts. So that appealed to me too, to be noticed for a reason other than, being somebody's family member. Wait, so he does fire. All right. So I've always loved doing fire stunts. My favorite one is as Jason in Part 7. That was, at that time, like the longest anyone had ever been fully engulfed in flames on a film. So fire has always been my favorite, and my least favorite, in fact, I never have done it, is anything with horses, because I never learned how to ride a horse. So, there's so many cowboy stunt people that are expert horsemen, horsewomen, and they get those jobs anyway. So that would be my least. And I guess maybe doing fight scenes with certain martial arts actors that...
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, not him. Oh. That's fine. I worked with a lot of martial arts guys, Chuck Norris, Michael Dudikoff was really good with it. But there was, one in particular I didn't care for, but no, I'm not going to say his name because he's recording.
Yes, we do not.
So is he.
And we do not want Mr. No, I'm just kidding.
You know who it is.
I'm sure it wasn't Steven Seagal. I was going to go to you next.
Oh, okay. So I don't claim to be a stuntman because I never followed completely through, but I'm what they call handy.
Yeah.
And I used to really study sword fighting, believe it or not. And I'm handy enough that on Hatchet 2, Kane was not only a Victor Crowley, but he was a stunt coordinator, and he let me do the fight scene with him, and it was good.
Yeah, it ends up interesting the way he is dispatched.
He curb stomps me on the edge of a big oak dining table.
Oh, dang.
We finished the fight. I put his mouth on the edge of a table and stomp on the back of his head so that the top of his head from here up slides across the table.
Oh, come on.
And the best part is the top of the head slides across the table and stops, and it goes, blinks. So he's not dead quite yet.
Yes. That's great. And did you have a least favorite stunt that you did, or?
Least favorite?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I really don't claim to be a stuntman, but I'm handy. And weapons and general fight scenes, I was really good at it at one time. But now that I'm a bona fide senior citizen, even though...
Who's older of us two?
Don't answer that.
No,
it's a
you can't.
trap.
We're very close, so nobody's offended. Raise your hand if you think I'm older than him. 2. How about if he's older than me?
All right, go to hell, everybody.
He's a little older than me. He's 71, I'm 69.
Awesome.
But speaking of getting old and everything, a year ago, 70 years old, I'm doing a fight scene in a movie. Against 2 35-year-old guys.
Who was it you were fighting with?
It was that movie I produced, Pig Hill, and it was...
Lovely name.
It was Shane West and I can't remember the other kid's name, but Shane was our male lead.
Yeah, Shane's a great actor.
Huh?
Great actor, Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Shane a lot.
Nice guy, too.
Yeah, sweet. Good questions. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. What you got, sir?
So, R.A., I think you have the picture from that curb stomp on your table.
Yes.
Yes. What is your name, young man?
My name's Matt.
Matt?
So you had said earlier, Kane, about how the stunt people you see today, they just focus on fighting or one little thing.
Or wire work, even worse.
Okay.
I do fight scenes and wire work, so I'm like, so you barely hit the ground. We used to hit the ground so hard we'd be sore for 3 days. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, and my question was more about today. You've got some movies that'll have stunts with like people that jump out of a plane or something like that. Are those? Do you end up finding people that are experts in that part of the field and then getting them to be able to work on the movie? Or do you find a stunt person that actually can do that or maybe is willing to train up to be able to do that piece of the film?
So you're talking about like stuff that actors have done themselves?
Not necessarily. I'm thinking of like going back into the 80s, like the James Bond film where they jumped out of the plane and the one guy didn't have a parachute and they had to catch each other. Mm-hmm. So my understanding was that was actually done in the air. But, today's stunt people, I'm from what you said, I would assume there aren't a lot of skydiving certified stunt people, or maybe there are. Right? That's kind of my question.
There never has been a lot, but there's still a few, yeah.
Okay. And really, that's what it was is how hard is it to, if you do want to specialize in something, how hard is it to get your name out there to let everybody know, hey, I can be a skydiver or whatever?
Well, you can't really do it at the beginning of your career. You have to do as much as you can just to get your name known. Eventually, you can specialize. That's how I feel. I always loved doing fire, but I knew that I wouldn't work enough if that's all I was known for. So if you want to work, you got to do as many different kinds of stunts as you can just for the opportunities to happen.
I have a follow-up question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I heard an actor just recently say he hates the color green because everything's done on green screens these days. And I understand the upcoming film Big Hill was all done on set, on location. But in your experience with these different movies, how much is actually done in a real setting, like in the 70s where you started, versus on those green screens? And I think people would think like Marvel type movies, those are very green screen. What's the ratio there these days?
My opinion is the bigger the budget, the more green screen there will be, because it's not a simple, inexpensive process. So if you're working on a limited budget, you have to do things practically. And if you have the money in the budget, you can spend it on visual effects to enhance or even create stunts so that they don't have to be as dangerous as they would be without the green screen. But it's basically a budget thing. You know, most of the stuff we do, we got to do everything for real. And that's why, you know, the Marvel stunt people and stuff, you know, not real high on that whole idea.
And there's also other practical considerations. Before Mick Strawn got up to PA, I was scouting actual caves. And Mick said, have you ever filmed in a cave? And I said, no. He said, well, the acoustics are really bad, and that's why we built the cavern set.
Okay. So as consumers, as well as working in the industry, do you have when you're watching these movies, can you tell like pretty quickly, and do you have a preference of, because to me, it seems like working on an actual set, and you said it was a little bit lower budget, but it seems like you get a little bit more grittiness or you get more realism because the other things that might be there versus what an artist might forget to put in a realistic scene. Do you guys have preferences on what you'd rather work on or what you'd rather watch?
Which would you rather do?
I prefer practical.
Yeah, I have to say the same thing. The ideal for me is to do something on a practical set, and then if anything, some kind of visual effects or green screen to enhance that.
Gotcha.
Make it look better than it was even. But, you know, I haven't done all that much where it's all green screen. Because, you know, some of the, like I did Batman Forever and Daredevil and stuff, those are big budget movies. But I didn't, my scenes were not anything that would have to do with green screen or anything like that. So,
awesome. Can I ask one more?
Well, we got two more people.
you got people.
Sorry, no worries. Sorry, brother. And we're coming close to the end too. So, last one, or not last one, but you're up, sir.
Oh, Kane, I was just wondering if you did all your underwater scenes.
Yes, I did. Which is a good question, because in Friday the 13th, Part 7, at the beginning of the movie, I was underwater for hours at a time because it's the beginning of the movie where Jason, you know, picking up from Part 6, is anchored to the bottom of a diving pool is what it was. It appeared to be a lake, but for convenience and stuff, we shot it in a scuba diving pool training facility. And they, you know, when I had all the costume and the makeup on, I was very buoyant. So they had to pull me underwater and attach my ankle to the bottom of the pool with a cable. So that means that was kind of a process to attach. So it was not easy. I couldn't come up and down between shots. So I would be under water for an hour at a time at least, because I had a safety diver, Alan Marcus. We worked with him. He would come in with a regulator on a hookah line that went outside the pool, and I would breathe for a while as if I was with a scuba tank, and then I could hear John Beekler talking on a microphone. I could hear it underwater, which I thought was amazing at the time. That's 1988. And he would tell me what we're going to do. And he'd say, whenever you're ready, he'd roll the camera, underwater camera. I would give up the thing, hold my breath, do whatever shot I was supposed to do. And then I'd hear cut, and the air would come back, and I could breathe for a while again. But I was underwater for hours. And it was the last 2 days of principal photography, which I'm already exhausted from having the makeup on. Take 3.5 hours to put that stuff on, and about an hour and 15 minutes just to remove it. So that's half the day just for that, without even working. And so it was very tricky and difficult, but I've always also been comfortable underwater, just like with heights. People get nervous with heights, a lot of people. I never had that. I never was uncomfortable with hanging off a balcony to scare my friends or something, 350 feet up.
Thank you. That's
You know why they saved those scenes for the last 2 days?
In case I died.
In case they called lunch while you were still cabled in the tank.
All right, we got our last question of the panel here.
Because both of you have been in like a lot of different like movies and stuff. What's your favorite and least favorite role that you've played?
Oh, do you have a favorite and least favorite role that you've been in?
Wow.
You always get the favorite, but not very often people ask you for the least.
I have to say, for me, the favorite is Jason, of course, but then Victor Crowley from the Hatchet movies also. And I don't want to offend anybody with the least favorite, but
Yeah.
it's a character I played that has a 3-word title, and the first word is kill. So I won't go beyond that. But I wasn't crazy about that character. It's kind of ridiculous. So
Nice.
see if you can research it.
Well, the obvious one for me is Leatherface, but I don't have a least favorite role. I'm just happy to be in front of the camera. But John Schneider's Smothered, we had a blast working on that movie.
That was so much fun.
It was.
And I agree. I mean, you bust your ass so long to make a living that it's hard to talk shit about any role because this is what you wanted to do. Yeah. No actor is ever happy with everything they've ever done. So there's going to be ups and downs, but it's
better than construction. It's better than construction.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
You don't get residuals for construction.
No, you do not.
As a matter of fact.
Well, I don't know. I worked highway construction. Our residuals were in 10 years, we had to redo the bridge. So that was our residuals.
Job.
As a matter of fact, speaking of construction, the year before I got Leatherface, I was working construction.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm left-handed. All the other boys are right-handed. So I started using my power tools with my right hand to get used to.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
And that's
a method
why,
actor.
He never tells anybody what RA stands for.
Right, always.
Oh, well.
Go ahead.
No, I just knew it as reach around.
Kane, quit projecting your fantasy on me.
Okay, I'll say your real name if you don't watch your ass. I do know his real name.
Yes, he does. But you vow.
I did.
This became
promise.
a whole different
Actually-
type of slasher panel.
Actually,
When I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to have somebody record it. RA's real name is, and then I go.
But
then
no.
you can't do shit to me.
I'll be the one in the room.
I'll be the one that puts
Turning off the life support.
With the pillow. No, RA stands for real asshole.
Amazing.
I like reach around better, don't you?
Of course you like reach around.
Well, on that one, I think that's a good time to end this
great.
one. Ladies and
Reach
gentlemen,
around,
I hope
everybody.
you had a great time. Hope you had a lot of fun. And parents, I hope you have a great time explaining to your children what a reach around is. But from all of us, all of you, I hope you had a good time. And thank you very much. And let's hear it for these icons.
This is Ray Santiago, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Please watch, like, and subscribe, or else we'll find you and you'll die.